Hey, what's going on, y'all? Pretty much turning in the last of my paperwork. Um, okay, hear me. So I wanted to talk with you guys. If you don't know, I'm BMT, business minded talk, or black male talk. It doesn't really matter. But I wanted to do this conversation with you guys on that. I think I gotta talk with a lot of my clients as well as a person. I'm gonna I know myself is going to be slowing down with BMT, and I need to definitely um, moving forward after today. I have the email already set up, but I already got to go run it through YouTube to let it do the 24-hour thing. But um, but I'm going to be talking about stuff like my my job working in security, um, just different stuff. I'm going to just do non-biased situations for men and women, um, stories, things that happen, everyday life, news reactions, stuff like that. But I'm going to be doing that separate from this channel. But I wanted to have a conversation with you guys about that. About that. What happened earlier. Um, I was offered $1,700 every like I was offered $1,700 a week, like just to do like a with this one client, and I get paid pretty good money. But this one client was offering me $1,700 a week, but I declined it. No, we do not. Depending on the client or the personnel, you do not give up their information because or you never know what that could put you in a situation illegal. Um, what happened was you got to know when to say no, and you got to have certain type of guiding stones. This is why I'm definitely going to start doing bodyguard stories or stuff of working in security, um, working with certain people or certain things you'll see, things that happen, um, the industry, certain events, things that you need to be aware of. I'm definitely going to talk about firearm safety, different assortment of stuff. What happened was pretty much there was a situation in which the artists they like to have the appeal that they have a lot of people flocking around them, coming to them that look at me. And so they usually will have it where they hand out a bunch of flyers where a bunch of girls for next to nothing can go to the show and hang out with them. This is men and this is women. They all do it. Like they all do it. Like they'll have a bunch of people come with them. Some of them don't even know who the artist is. They'll just be there. And what will happen was the the girls that came there, they were down for being there, and they were, the first the first thing anybody, if you're planning on going into being a security or you plan on doing being a bodyguard or anything like that, you need to know any and everything of those or people that come around you. A lot of people, managers, artists, their groups, their yes men, as I call them, they'll tell you don't ask questions, don't ask questions, don't ask questions. Some people follow that ironclad rule and like, hey, don't ask questions, they just do their job, or they end up becoming a yes man also. That's not that's not your job to do that. That will put you in so many situations. This is why I'm telling you right now, there are three people that know just about everything behind the scenes. And one of them is always the bodyguard. The bodyguard or the security, they see a lot. They're supposed to know a lot. They're supposed to know everything that goes on with their client, to everything to how the routes that they take, where they're going, um, who they are dealing with. If they're down low, if they have certain types of addictions or problems. Listen, man, I've done seen a lot in the industry and industries. Let me say that industries. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, what happened was like the groupies showed up and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna have a good time," and they're having fun. And the thing, you always want to pay attention to listen, listen, listen. Listen to the room. Listen to what's being said in the room. That's why when you're doing too much talking, I have certain rules as a bodyguard that I do not do. I don't drink on the job. I never drink. I don't drink, and I don't ever partake in whatever festivities are in the room. If you're really serious about this type of work, you do not. And I have been and seen a whole assortment of parties. Some things that y'all will never dream of. You are the unknown variable. You have to be the ground rod that is grounded to reality to bring that person back. You're supposed to be. Some guys, sometimes they hire people in their group like gangbangers or they hire their family members, so whoever, to be that person or they'll be that person. Then they end up getting drawn into. I'm thankful for my discipline that I have to not get involved. And you'll have it where women will come to you and try to entice you, and will try to entice you. You'll have it where groups will try to entice you. Y'all like, what? How can they do that? Trust and believe. This line of work, this business is older. To get to the king, you got to get past the guard. To get to the celebrity, you got to get past the guard. To get to any BP, you have to get past the knights, the rooks, the pawns. You have to get past them. And so these girls were in there, and these, well, they look like ladies. That's why you got to be very careful with the makeup and all the stuff that be on these women. And if y'all can't see me, put in the chat that y'all can't see me, or if it's acting up. But what happened was the makeup started acting. The girls started talking about school was closed. Hmm? This is why you should always watch the news, the local news, to find out stuff. And I was like, school's closed. Hmm. I'm like, what school's closed? The colleges are open. And after that, I was like, started listening more. After that, asked the girl, I said, hey, what school y'all go to? Or what semester y'all in? Oh, we're in winter semester. Winter semester? It's spring. How old are y'all? You gotta start asking questions. Now the artist was like, hey, chill, chill, chill. You know what I'm saying? Like we all gonna have fun, you know what I'm saying? One of the guys was like, yeah, man, like come on, hey, get a drink. Hey, get him a drink. I'm like, thank you. Took the drink, sit it down. Don't drink the drink. Never drink the drinks. Never drink the drinks. I say this again, as security personnel, you never drink the drinks. You never drink the drinks. You don't know what people put in the drinks. I don't know why people drink the drinks, but they drink the drinks all the time. And so when they began to, I said, I need to see your IDs. That's when the room started getting a little bit more on edge. Whoa. Hold up. You just security. You don't get to ask that keyword. You said it damn well correct. I am security. And for that of the safety and the consensual security of this room, consensual, that means consent. We need to know how old are these people in this room. You see, this is the problem. People can look one thing but be another. I've seen this with men and women. You got to where these young men, they look like grown men. You got to where these young girls, they portray to act like grown women. And you have to learn how to curb and actually start to decipher. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me see your ID. Certain IDs are set up a certain type of way. You got to know the difference of the state IDs. They actually have scanners. They have scanners now that allow you to scan the IDs, as well as certain things that can verify certain stuff. The age, the age, if it's fake or not. Yo, the ID world is the digital world is a whole different playground. It's a whole different playground. And the artist got mad at me because, hey man, why he acting like a 12, man. He acting like a 12. 12 is code for 12 is a word for pig. So sometimes you'll hear people say F12. They're saying F the police. So you acting like a 12, man. I'm saying, listen, you're gonna have a whole bigger situation going on. So then the makeup manager that does the makeup and has them get all their clothes and uniforms and all that stuff together. She asked the question. She said, "Babies, let me see y'all. Let me see y'all thing. Let me see y'all your IDs." Now they were a little bit more reluctant. One of the girls pulled out their ID and she looked at it and she snatched the wallet and gave it to me. She was like, "Go ahead and read it." Girl was 16. Girl was 16. I said, "Okay, next one." Mind you, these are nine young females. These are nine females. 16, 15, 16, 14. I can keep on going. Manager, all right, it's enough. Send them in the other room. I said, bro, I'll tell you what. Sorry about that. He tipped the manager. He tipped her $200. Yeah, listen, bro. Put out an envelope. How much they paying you? I said, why does it matter? How much they paying you? He said, I can. He said, we need somebody like you to keep your eye out. You need somebody like me to keep my eye out. Yeah, I'm saying, watch out for us. Make sure that we good. I'm saying, how about I'll tell you what, pay you 1,500. Wow, that's a nice sizable donation. Better yet, the guy angry, walking around back and forth. His homeboys, they cursing up a storm. He said, man, this buster right here, they go get one of my partners. My partner asked me a question, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Did that mother partner come in? Put my hands up. So now my partner's on edge because they're like, okay, what's the threat? Always have certain code or language only you and your people understand. Woo! Shout out to a great man, Panthro himself in the living flesh, Black Superman. Charles, we're gonna have to definitely chop it up about that of security and the stuff that you need to know how to do as being an ironclad guard. But what went on to happen was the guys were upset because I made the females. Let me just say, I made the kids leave the room. They offered to pay me $1,700 to work for them. Now, this is the thing about it when it comes to that of having a code, having an honor code. $1,700 every week. Now, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. We could probably go get more vehicles, more equipment, more gear, you know, cooler uniforms, whole assortment of stuff. Hire more people. But we like being a small unit. It makes it easier for us to train. But in that situation, in that situation, I was like, no. I was like, no. He said, well, let me talk to the other dude. Told him what happened. This is why you have to get a group or a team. That's why I try to tell a lot of men. You don't need a big group. You don't need quantity. You need quality. Quality. Quality grounded men or women, but you mainly need men. I would honestly want to say I've seen women do my line of work for bodyguards. Yeah, honestly, the percentage is predominantly 98%. No, 96% men, 4% women. Because some things we can't check. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, Charles, let me know when you want to do a panel on that. But a lot of y'all men keep on thinking we need numbers. We need numbers. No, you don't. If it was something where me and Charles had a job doing some bodyguard work, we only need what four or five of us, two on the personnel, two on the entrance, and one floater, 5-man team. As long as we know we can shoot, maneuver, and doggone detain and get the people to where they need to do, we can pretty much, and we know the routes of everything. We're very functional. Just say whenever you're ready, buddy. We need, like I said, I'm going to be starting to drift away from BMT. I'm going to start up a bodyguard channel, talking about stuff on the tactical side for firearms, bodyguarding, and I'm also going to be telling stories. And I know Charles definitely will love that. I'm not going to have to use race or anything like that. I'm going to just tell y'all the nitty gritty of stuff that literally from bodyguards, law enforcement, security. I'm going to tell y'all some pretty gritty stuff of why some things happen. Now, ultimately, the guy offered me $1,700. He offered each and every last one of us, I'll pay y'all $1,700. And you'll get that. Your boys, I'll get them $1,500. My partner looked over at me. I didn't look at him. I didn't want there to be no sway. I didn't want there to be no sway of him. He said, what was my man's answer? What was my man's answer? He said, well, your man right now, he's saying no. He said, so what do you think my answer is going to be? You see, that's the true art and honor of me and my brothers. If one says no, we all are saying no. If one does not feel comfortable about the situation, we all do not maneuver on that situation. We all say no. Then we need to stand up. We need to get information, because that means there's something definitely out of order. And when I said that, they understood that, hey, like, okay, man, you tripping. I told you. He a narc. He a narc. One of the dudes started getting irate because he lost his young piece of vagina. I guess he was telling her he was gonna give her some money. And see, you gotta understand, a lot of these young groupies are easily enticed by the chains, the rent. Mind you, a lot of these people rent their jewelry. They rent their clothes. There are literally businesses where you can rent these things out: clothes, jewelry, cars. I listen. It's funny. It's funny to me. But you can rent. You can rent to look like and be a superstar. And the girls, you know what I'm saying? One of the girls came right back in there. He grabbed one of the girls. By that time, my other partner pulled out his sidearm out of the holster. The other guy, he grabbed the bottle. I said, sheathe your sword. Sheathe your sword, man. I said, listen, after we're gonna finish tonight, but you won't have access to us no more after tonight. You won't have access to us anymore after tonight. The manager was like, yo, be cool, be cool. We need these guys because they were out of town. And to be out of town, you need some form of protection. You need some form of protection while you're out of town. I said, listen, we're gonna make sure you finish and do your whatever you gotta do. But after that, we leave. Man, this dude got rid of our gals. I got rid of the kids. I got rid of the kids. You are a 36-year-old plus man with a girl who is 15. By law, I should be detaining you. I should be detaining you right now. Now, this is where the room starts getting different. This is why I said, know the room. Know the room. What they didn't understand was the time that they took to look at me. My partner had already maneuvered in the corner from the vantage point where he could literally sweep the room. I was not in the peripheral vision. I probably would have got hit by one stray bullet if it was that case. But we practice on shooting, get taking a bullet. We practice on that. Gotta know what it feels like so that way you can react. It's not fun. I said, ladies, leave the room. Leave the room. You had a butch dyke that wanted to stay in. Two of them. I said, that's fine. I said, from here on, however you want to play this. Now the manager, a little bit more calm and collective. Hey, listen, whoa. Don't have to go that way. So you're chopping a deal with us. The price for us now has just gone up $200 each. Said your friends are now becoming hostile. Your clientele is now becoming hostile towards us. Some people say, "Oh man, BMT, this thing." I say, "Do y'all know how many young groupies, how many young gals, how many young boys, how many young impressionable men and women trail and follow these people?" This is why a lot of people come up missing. This is why a lot of people get into situations. This is why a lot of the situations of things happen that they happen. This is why Have to know. Um, Master P's brother. Master P's brother is the perfect example. When that boy ended up getting killed. If they had security there, that boy shouldn't have even been in that venue. Shouldn't have even been there. But what happened was the young girls, I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to walk those girls out. We're gonna put them on an Uber and send them home. And we're gonna contact their guardians and let them know they're on their way home. The guy was like, whoa, we don't have to do that. I think him and one of the females went to go talk to them. And go talk to them. I cannot go over everything that was spoken about. But y'all need to understand that this is why, one, you need to start carding and IDing people that come in these establishments. Card and ID people that come in the establishment. Find out their age. Find out who they are. Had a young boy who was a groupie. He came in. Um, came in. Literally from Michigan all the way down to the south, following a female, spending his money and his savings just to follow her. His parents didn't know he found her. Do I regret turning down $1,700? No, because nothing can compromise my integrity, not of my code. Some of y'all probably would have took the money. I don't regret it. I don't. Give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry, I'm just here to pick up something at GameStop. But just waiting for it. I think I'm gonna drop the link. I can do that. Yep. Aside from that, I'm gonna tell you right now, in this line of work, you're definitely gonna have to learn how to say no. You definitely gonna have to learn how to abstain yourself from certain situations. and not compromise yourself. Because I can promise you, there's going to be a lot of situations that are going to happen, and they're going to put you in. That's why I don't. That's why when people try to make it seem like being a bodyguard is easy, or it's not. I can promise you, when a situation happens, you're the first one to get blamed. When something goes wrong, you're the first one that they call. Whenever anything starts changing, you need to know. I've been doing this for a while since I was in the military up until now, and I can tell you right now, I love it. I love my work. I actually do. Actually, enjoy I enjoy what I do because it's just my gift. It's my gift. Uh, I'm actually, and I think that's the thing about it. Like everybody can't do it. I've seen people try to be a bodyguard, and they don't last long. Hey, BMT, would you consider doing an AITA commentary from Reddit? I don't know. I never thought of that. Never thought of that. I don't know. There's a lot of like I watch a lot of videos of situations with celebrities and different people, political, different kind of VIPs, and I it's crazy. What is wrong with you? I do a lot of commentary. Like a lot of us, we love watching films of what other people or other situations, and we always play out. Because you never know. I kid you not. You never know if that situation may come in your position. Like there's a lot of stuff. I kid you not. Like your people will come to you and talk to you about a lot of stuff. And they'll ask you, hey man, what do you think about that girl? Or hey, go pick up this or go do that. Or, like I'm about to do this. I wouldn't do that, man. Like I kid you not, I parent so many things through. And Charles can probably tell you, different people, that's literally your job as the guard to guard people from situations where they or where the outer forces can hurt them or harm them or the environment, or literally they can end up doing or inflicting harm. You know what I'm saying? Like, no offense, that Astro World thing, when that crowd, if that crowd was going the way it was going, if anything, I probably would have fanned the others. I would have probably fanned my crew and said, okay, calm them down. Like, and you can do that. You can tell them if they can't calm down, tell them that they got to leave. It's easy. I've been there. I've been there for a lot of different. I think that's the thing about. That's why I don't. That's why I don't pick a side when it comes to um, politics because I've been that person on all sides of the fence for different groups. Like literally, when you're good at what you do, people will come and hire you unless they already have a certain detail group. When you're good at what you do, people will come and hire you because they know what you're capable of. Yeah, and that's just always been a sentiment of a thing. Thank you. Um, Now when it comes to work, um, John, Cock, whatever. I don't pick. Like when it comes to work, you don't get to pick. It's if you get a client, that's what I do on my personal and what I do during the job. This is why I'm saying like I don't think y'all get it when it comes to being a bodyguard. Like I've done bodyguard for different parties. They don't care about your personal. What I talk about on my personal and what I do on my profession is two different things. So I don't think y'all get that. What I do on my personal and what I do on my personal is y'all don't believe different political parties hire people. You could be a diehard liberal and be working for a conservative party putting together their server. I've seen that. You can be a Democrat, a household Democratic voter, and guess what? You could probably be getting hired by some group that literally will say, "Hey, like, can you do X, Y, and Z and make sure that we're good?" That happens. That happens. So long as you're not compromising certain stuff, which I wholeheartedly I don't like. I mean, what you vote or anything, that's none of my business. That's not. That's really not. See, that's the thing about it. That's the reason why I'm a professional. Some of y'all are not, because I don't. What you do behind closed doors, that's your thing. I'm a diehard. I literally fought for that right. So that way, so long as it's not infringing upon my rights, that's you. I've been hired by people of the LGBTQ to watch over them. What they do behind closed doors, that's their business. If you can't handle that as an individual, then again, this work is not for you. I've been offered a whole assortment. Like I said, this is why when I do my next channel, I don't need a lot of y'all. I really don't need a lot of y'all. My 2 point something, whatever. I don't need no fart leaning, whatever, left or right, or whatever y'all call y'all. So y'all are cancer. Y'all honestly are cancer. People can say one thing until the moment actually hits them, and then we'll see honestly what you are. So long as the numbers match in my bank account, and I do not compromise or I don't have to break something that literally puts me in a compromised position. Yeah, that's the difference between me and y'all. I'm a professional. I get called upon because they know what I'm capable of. Yeah, oh no, I got you. I got you, BK. See, I can do that. I can do that. That's the thing about it. I've trained and I teach. I train and I teach men and women how to be proficient. One thing that we always have an agreement on with the as the brothers, now I say brothers, we call our sect brothers. Doesn't matter your gender. We call each other brothers. I think we had one female on our team. She was one of our brothers. She understood she needed to carry her load. I don't train weak. I train strength. That and also we could not check a woman a certain type of way. They have holsters that they can carry between their vaginal section. I can't check there, not without probable legal cause. And so guess what? Got a female for that. She was actually pretty good. She's actually gone on to do better and brighter things. I said, you always have a home. You always have a home with us. some of our personnel, um, they're all doing pretty good things. I know I have been. I mean, like I said, I do this. I like to do. This is a hobby. I was good at what I do. I was trained by the best. I was a five-tour vet, a five-tour soldier. I had a ranger, and I also had a special forces. I was trained in air assault. I was trained in EOD. I have EOD, some EOD training under my belt, some EOD. I don't matter. I didn't go. I didn't transition over there. Let me see what else. First off, let me make sure I give honorable recognition to Panther himself. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
Not much. I was listening in, stepped away to brush my teeth and stuff, but it's funny when
Sound a little
I
low.
saw the comment. It's funny when I saw the comment about you could pick the politics. I said, hey, when you're in public safety, you're supposed to be above politics. You're supposed to be above ideological thought. If somebody hires you as a personal protection, as security, and that nature, you keep your thoughts to yourself. As long as that person gets safe to point A, point B, or whatever your SOP, your policy, or your objective is, that's the important thing.
Hold on,
Once
hold
you,
on, hang on, Panther. I'm gonna back out and come right back in.
okay.
Can you hear me now, brother?
Yeah.
Got you. Go ahead, brother.
And it's like even being a police officer, your personal ideology should not overweigh your duty.
Right.
I think a lot of people get messed up into that. You
I was
can't.
trying to. I was trying to tell them, like, listen, me and you could be given a job. What we think about on our personal, that does not have nothing to do with the mission.
Hmm.
It doesn't. That's what you have. That's what you have. That's what you have. Charles say, "Hey, stow that shit, y'all too. We're here to do our job." Yes, sir.
I think that's where a lot of people, especially in the black community, get shit messed up. You saw it a lot during the whole Trump and everything else. Like, look, there's very few times you get to pick who and what the uh, the principle is. So, majority of the time, you may not agree with them all. You may not agree, but if that person is paying you to keep them safe, that's the importance.
Right. Right.
And it goes back to, like I said before, small unit tactics. And, and, and I'm going to say something about law enforcement, um, security detail, protection agents, whatever you want to call it. Your biggest investment is you. You're going to probably go to places like ESI, Academy, and other places that does executive protection. My personal opinion, the more training, the better, because everybody gives you a little something different. But you need to be able to. One, you need to be teachable. One, you need to not be afraid to refine your skills and not be afraid to actually keep your ears and eyes open and your mouth shut. Don't be a know-it-all. If you're a know-it-all, nobody will ever want to work with you. It's going to be a very interesting experience for some because, like you said earlier, if you don't have a military and/or law enforcement background, it's going to be a learning curve. So a lot of times you're going to have people who don't understand the concepts very well. And I'm like, you really need to get on point because somebody's life is literally in your hands, regardless of your beliefs, your religion, whatever.
I
Ultimately, it's
agree.
going to ultimately it's going to come down to can you do the damn job?
I had it one time where during the last election, y'all would be surprised again when you're known for the merit of your work. People will seek you out and hire you because they know what you're capable of. Listen, I've been deep, like goddamn scrotum deep in MAGA country, but regardless of that, I did my job. And they looked at the outline. Now, you're gonna have the ignorant people. Oh, so you just cooned your way. No, I didn't. I never shared my sentiments or my belief with them. I just did my job. If anything, that's why they wanted me to come out there more. Because they're like, he watches us. And if anything, I think one of the somebody y'all would be surprised, jaw drop, literally even told their people, listen, don't be asking my personal security um X, Y, and Z about their personal. Don't do that. Don't do that. They're here to make sure that we get point A to point B and back on the plane. So when you have it where a professional like Charles, and like I said, I tell you, Charles, we with all the stuff that we done seen and did, we got to start actually breaking open the book of how these things work and how these things. I've been to protests where people have come out there with firearms. I said, y'all barking up a different tree. I need to put them back. Well, my amendment, that's your amendment. You're going down. You're gonna be walking past half a mile from a school. Yeah, you can't do that.
Let me put it to you this way: like it or not, you have the right to do anything as long as you don't infringe on other people's rights. Once you start infringing, you're wrong. But what about? Nope, you're wrong. And a lot of times I like to focus on black people because a lot of black people are very ignorant towards law enforcement and protection. Doesn't mean they're dumb or stupid. It's just we don't focus on those careers as we should. And when you actually start to notice and pick things up, things become a very new concept. There's certain things that are protocol. There's certain things that are going to be considered, how do you say, unprofessional.
Uh-huh.
You can't get emotional, and I think that's the main thing that a lot of people don't understand. You're supposed to be above emotion, above your peace being disturbed. Now it's one thing if somebody tries to harm you or your principle. That's another thing where what principle is. If somebody comes, that's different. But people are gonna talk about you. People are gonna say some crazy shit. Sometimes you just gotta you keep an eye on them and you just ignore
See, this is why I'm already going to be working on the next channel, separate, far separate from a lot of this space. And this is why I'm gonna tell you right now. One of the most requested, the top in the top 10 that are most requested is vets. Vets are definitely that's a high commodity. Depending on the vet and the MOS, definitely a hot commodity. That's why it's very like me and Charles are 11 Bravo Oscars. With QRF under our belt, tactical tactical reconnaissance, driving, defensive driving, offensive driving. You know, there is a difference. Y'all don't even know that. Um, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of training, combatives, shooting, glass house training. Like you're eating, you're breathing, night fires, all that stuff. Um, like that's that's millions of dollars pumped into us too. Millions of dollars pumped into us too. So I my frustration was that we have all this set experience. And I think there's other hang on, Charles, hold it down for me. Hold it down for me.
them. All right, I got you. Hey, I guess I gotta call it in, but a lot of times I'm not sure what he was about to say, but I tell you the frustration about some of it is that a lot of people want to be put on, but a lot of people don't want to be taught. If that makes sense, a lot of people don't want to be. They don't want to take the time to train, to take preventive measures, to actually do the planning. And I think that's where a lot of times you learn your craft is when you do your planning. And unfortunately, too many people want to be the Chiefs and not the Indian. Too many people don't want to take out the time to say, you know what, I need to learn this craft. I need to actually put in what needs to be done. And unfortunately, when you try to teach people this concept, some people it's going to fly over their head. Very unfortunate. So you're going to have to take the time and the effort to actually see what your team's about, see what your training's about, especially when BMT was talking about the driving, the evoc, the firearms, the combatives or hand-to-hand training, the report writing, which is a very, very delicate one because you can write yourself in or out of shit very easily. And I'm not talking about making up stuff. I'm talking about actually putting the necessary information into a report because some reports, not all reports are the same. For example, if you're doing a homicide report, your initial report is not going to be very detailed. That's what all the supplement reports are for. You're probably going to have about 2 to 3 sentences on that initial homicide or attempted murder report. It's not going to be very detailed. The reasons why is because those are the reports that are accessible by the public. Those are the accessible reports by the media. Not everybody needs to know what's going on during an ongoing investigation. And a lot of people will disturb the contents of it. Another another aspect is knowing how to talk your way into things and a lot of things like that. You're gonna have to speak to people. You're gonna have to be respectful, even when the person's being disrespectful, sir, ma'am. Um, we're not gonna go through that. Sorry. It doesn't mean kissing anybody's ass. It's just you keep your professional bearings about you. And a lot of folks don't understand that concept. Unfortunately, it's one of those learned arts. But I'm gonna go back into the training, other training aspects, a little bit back into the firearms. The more you come into security professions, the more you're going to come into firearms training, such as the pistol, the shotgun, the rifle, such as walking with a principal and knowing how to shield their body while returning fire, shoot, don't shoot scenarios, use of force, and things of that nature. Always going to be important. I think a lot of times when we see the action-packed aspect of law enforcement and public safety, we don't take in consideration the level of training needed for an operation to go smoothly. We always want to think it's quick. Like, for example, I'm going back to school starting the 31st for the EMT certification. And hopefully, in about a year and a half, I'll actually have my paramedic. People don't understand the level of training and comprehension needed, or the length of time needed to be a professional. Anybody have any questions in the chat that I can answer? Hopefully, you got some questions. Actually, you're wrong, John. The academy is not just 6 months of training because you still have 3 months of actually field training and you're under year probation. So it actually takes 2 years to make a full-fledged officer. And majority of the times, you are held to a very high standard when it comes to the law. Because a lot of times I think you don't even understand what you just quoted. many officers are held? Do you even understand what good faith is? No, because yes, human beings make mistakes, believe it or not. And what you're trying to get at is, well, your officer's perfect. What do you do for a living, and are you perfect at it? You never made a mistake in it. No. And yes, you're held to a very high penal and punishment compared to the average citizen. So let's not go there with that bullshit. And trust me, even though the academic portion is 6 months, a lot of people would not make that 6 months. A lot of you can't. You would quit, you would complain, you would do something that's out of term and get fired because within those 2 years, that's very easily you get fired. So a lot of you think 6 months is hard. No, a lot of you probably couldn't make the physical part. When you have to go on those 3 to 4 to 5, 10-mile runs. A lot of you couldn't. A lot of people can't even make the firearms. A lot of people, believe it or not, cannot functionally handle college level English because you're taught by law professors and English teachers. You actually have college credit going to those classes. A lot of you couldn't make it. Saddest part. Hmm. What privilege do we have? Please explain. What privilege? Because we don't have immunity. So you want to bring up, oh well, they have politic immunity. Where? Because one thing about law enforcement, if you really want to be particular, you have to make a decision in less than 2 seconds that can be scrutinized for over 2 years. Once again, you have somebody who doesn't understand logic. It's longer than 6 months. My profession doesn't affect people's livelihood if you have a profession. And qualified immunity allows officer. Where's this qualified immunity? Where is it? Pull it up. Pull it up. Talk is cheap. Pull it up. If you want to be technical, basic training in the Army is what, 2 to 3 months? Let's be honest. You put your hands on a lawyer, and the average lawyer scores is a C plus, B minus. You put your you put your freedom in the hands of a lawyer, and on the average, they're B minus and C plus students. I notice how people say the same, make up this bullshit 6 month thing. The 6 months, 6 months during the week is a long time. For example, in the state of Maryland, you have one of the strictest requirements for policing under MPTC requirements. That's why our certifications hold up in damn near any state. But yeah, do you say the same thing to the average soldier, sailor, marine about their level of training being only what 3 months, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 15 weeks, maybe. But academically, police officers do 28 weeks, including another 3 to 4 months of field training. And then you're on a year probation, still learning. You still have in service. You have other training, such as tactics, firearms, report writing. You actually have online classes and new laws being revised that you have to study and understand. See, the training isn't just the 6 months that you're talking about. That's where it comes back to what I talked about earlier is ignorance. Well, this is the, you know what, where you're from, I bet you the standards are pretty low for law enforcement. And let me see, let me turn my shit around because I don't know if you're trolling because first and foremost, damn near all police departments hire you before you go to the police academy. You're going to be hired to work within an office. You don't even get the uniform yet. Where are there so many cops violating rights? Hell, most people don't even know their rights. So you must be one of them people who got stopped in the car and said, "Why are you stopping me?" And the officer presented you evidence of why they stopped you, and you still didn't like it. You cried about it. But yet, the same people like you who complain about the police would be the first people to call them, which is amazing.
Okay, can y'all hear me now? I hate driving.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me read some of the. Wow, Charles, they've been giving you some a lot of good comments. Did you been reading them?
Oh yeah, I've been reading them. It's this guy John. What's his name? Cockway. I believe he's trolling.
And why are cops allowed to have ignorance of the law when they screw up with the qualified? Um, qualified. You know, let me. That's why, Charles. We need to go ahead and have the conversation. See, I like when people ask these things because it makes it easier for us to actually dispel the myths. For every round Charles fires, he has to write a report on why he did what he did. For every action I do, I have to give a viable report sent in to that police police office, right? And I have to appear to court. I have to show up to court and tell them why I did what I did.
Let's break this down real quick because he talked about Terry stops.
Mhm.
Do you even know the case? What is it, Terry versus Ohio, I believe? Does this
Please
motherfucker even know the
educate.
case? Because first and foremost, the case dealt with a guy who had a bulge in his pocket. He's looking around. He's casing the store. He's wearing a jacket in weather that you didn't need a jacket for. He's doing safety checks like the same thing cops do when they're off duty. They check to see if their gun is still there. He's not moving his hand where he has a possible weapon. Yes, Terry stops are legal, meaning if I which develops reasonable suspicion. There's a difference between reasonable suspicion and probable cause. Reasonable suspicion is when you can look and point certain criteria that meets like, okay, something's afoot. And if you're detaining and stopping somebody, you can pat their outermost you can pat their outermost clothing. So once you have probable cause, which means you can legally search, that means I can go inside your clothing and take you. Now, if I pat you down for
Can you hear me,
weapons,
brother?
I can
So
take that.
I'm going to walk into the studio. So
Okay.
one of the things about it is, and I'm gonna tell you right now, uh, I have a paranoia. Maybe a lot of people, from cops to most personnel with firearms, we have a paranoia of people with their hands in their pockets, especially walking up on us. And some people are like, oh, well, you should be trained. That's why we are. We watch people's hands. What are you doing with your hands? What are you doing with your hands? And you have it where your hands are in your pockets. Hey, that could be seconds too late. Okay?
You know what's fun? You know what's funny? This guy talked about, well, Terry stops allow people to walk all over your Fourth Amendment rights. Let me explain something to you. Once again, what's a Terry stop versus a search? If this guy can't tell me what a Terry stop over a search is, in conversation now.
Um, John, you can come up if you want to talk with us. You can, and we can have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're two um level-headed professional men, and we can have the conversation on. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no chastisement, no roast. It's just if you believe, because understand this: if Charles is a VIP, a VP, and you're about to come to him, I'm going to search you. I'm going to search you. Open your jacket. I'll probably say, okay, let's go through. Get out your pocket. I do it all.
First and foremost, let's look at Terry versus Ohio because it went to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court says yay, then it does not violate your fucking rights. Let's just get that out there. So, if it's something that a reasonably trained officer would do, because one, if you really know about Terry searches, or Terry, actually, it's not even a Terry search, a Terry stop, or a pat down, you can only pat down for weapons, not drugs. Even if I find drugs like marijuana, crack cocaine, heroin, whatever, I have to continue the Terry stop. I actually have to continue to pat down unless I find a weapon. Now, if I found a weapon, I could just arrest you right there and just continue my search, search incident to arrest. So obviously you don't know what you're talking about, kid. So come a little bit better with that. If you're gonna come better than that. Go ahead, BNT.
I've only now the guy said that's illegal. Now understand this. Well, listen, understand this.
How many
When you
times did I
come,
tell you? How many times did I tell you a pat down is not a search because you're going to the outer, you're patting down the outermost clothing. Going into your pockets will be considered a search. Patting
correct.
the outside of your pockets is not legally a search. That's not illegal. Try again, but continue, BMT.
Now the thing about it, again, this is why when I like the young girls that was there in the vicinity of that area. You know what I'm saying? Bring me some chips, please. We're in the vicinity of that area, right? BMT security guard and cops are two different things. We said that. We definitely said that. Like Um, and I understand that. Charles is a cop. I do security. I do bodyguard. So that's my job. Sometimes officers off duty, guess what they go off? Guess what they go do? They step over, saying, "Hey, y'all." They actually, believe it or not, a lot of officers do that. They go over there. A pat down is a search when done by enforcement. Well, okay. Um,
Actually,
hold on a minute.
you're totally wrong with that. So you're talking to a guy right now who's in his feelings
I
instead
would
of
have to. We
actually.
would have to see. That's what, Charles. This is why I said we have to do a channel. You can have it. This is why I said we have to do a. This is why I said we have to do a channel for this because we we probably get so many subscribers for doing these kind of things, man. It's, I told you, man. This is our calling. This is our calling, man. Like I said, he says, "I'm not arguing. You're patting someone down um, to get on a building. My arguing a cop patting me down for no reason other than they think they can." Now, okay, so let's try this. So if an officer or security, let's say let's say you're on the premises. Hey, can I see your ID? And they say, well, I don't have to give you my ID. Like, but you're on the premises. I need to know who you are. That's not unheard of. But I need to know who you are. If you're in, and I've had that happen. So, oh my God, I've had that happen so many times where people have
Like,
on premise and they're like, I don't have to show you who I am. And I'm like, yes, you do. I need to know who you are for the
bro, you never
safety
told.
of everybody else. If something were to happen, they're going to say, did anybody check his ID?
Yeah, and then anything, you don't have a right to come on the purpose. You could be just told to leave. Well, I don't have to check your ID. I don't have to grant you access.
So,
See,
you
this is what I like
know,
about these trolls. I wish they came a little bit better.
mhm. Okay, well, let
Matter
me
of
get
fact,
everything squared away.
let me ask you this question, John. Are you a black male or white male?
Okay, so I'm gonna put that out. Um, that way, let's pull up that of a pat down because again, and who better to start teaching? That's why I said I told you, Charles, we're gonna have to start teaching and going over, that of these things. You know what I'm saying? Um, pat down.
Are you black or white, John? Because I see a white guy. And here's my question, because you brought up some. Well, the Second Amendment said I can. You do know states' rights actually can supersede the amendment, right? So if you're a convicted felon with a weapon, which is illegal, by the way,
There you go. So that's the first one. So pat downs, um, mind you, are an act of searching a person for concealed items such as weapons or illegal drugs made by passing the hands over the garment. So if I was standing up, okay, what's this? Um, this is my wallet. Okay, I'm gonna feel the outer extremities. Then after that, I cannot, or Charles, we cannot just go into your pocket. We can feel the outer lining of the pocket. And when we feel certain things, we even check for the boots. We check a lot of things. That's a pat down. Okay? Turn around. Okay? Turn up the coat. Feel down the back. Feel the lining. Pat down. Pat down. Okay? Anything you want to say, Charles, when it comes to the pat downs or anything like that? Anything you want to say, brother?
Yeah, once I've said it so many times, like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And yes, I asked you why, if you're a black guy or white guy, because I've noticed a lot of white guys lately trying to struggle bond and talk about how badly they have it when for the longest time legality was on your side. And most black guys don't say the term 2A. And yes, I'm going to put color into it because a lot of times color and context matters.
Mm. Now,
Because if you're complaining about a Terry stop, when you have when even if you have the right to carry a weapon, yes, the police has the right to stop you and to check your credentials to see if you can legally carry that weapon.
just because, now understand that I think this is where people get it mixed up. That just because you can carry a concealed, if the business does not authorize for a concealed weapon in there, it can't be in there.
No, they're not violating your. They're not violating.
And and I've heard people argue that. Um, I heard people argue that to me. Well, it is my right to carry concealed weapon. It's my constitutional right. Your constitutional right doesn't succeed Faulkner Pizza. Understand? If Faulkner Pizza Ria does not want a firearm in there, it doesn't come in. If the person that I'm guarding, right, they don't want any weapons or bladed items into that area, which most likely, hang on, let me see. You gotta hope the owner backs you, which most likely they aren't. See, and I agree with you, Ed. I agree with you on that one. Sometimes it does happen, but for the most part, again, SOPs is SOPs. SOPs is SOPs, right? If we have certain rules that me and Charles go by, then and even the establishment is willing to break those rules, we can be like, no. Especially if they start breaking legal rules. No, we don't have to comply and say, well, you're our boss. No, no. Not at the sign of our freedom. No judge is going to want to hear that. Well, I told them that they could do that. You you can't authorize them to go break the law.
Let's talk about this, right? State law is state law. Just because you have the right in one state to do something doesn't mean it carries over to another. Hell, certain townships and cities, you can't do certain things in there. You go into a town that says if you don't have, for example, state of Maryland. State of Maryland does not recognize any other state's government. You come in there willy nilly, you could be arrested. But yet, you have certain states like Florida and Nevada where they're permit is recognized in 32 states or more. It's not equal. Okay, the state does have can supersede the Constitution. They can't undermine it. And I'm going to argue this fact. And plus, the reason why I asked you if you're black or white is because there are times when white people get on these black streams and try to act like because of their whiteness, they're the supreme authority of any subject matter we speak of, regardless of the level of education, experience, and training that person has. And a lot of you Johnny come latelys use some of this basically pseudo racial superiority of intellectualism of trying to say I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I've been doing this shit longer than you probably been even noticing your own fucking life.
Now, now, Charles, have you ever heard of an auditor?
Hmm.
Now, I'm putting things together. Putting things together. I'm willing because see, one of the interesting things I like to I've been having conversations with is auditors. I got to take you over there one day to go have a conversation with auditors because man, oh man, the stuff that they talk about, we live that would be a series in it by itself. The what
No doubt.
auditor what auditors talking about. Hang on, let me see.
I bet. It's like this guy here. How many times have I explained that states can supersede the Constitution? They can't undermine it. But this is the reason why he's white splaining. I call it white splaining. Well, I have a right to do this. I have a right to do that. No, you don't. Where in the Constitution it says you have a right to carry anything concealed?
Mm.
Because when it comes to concealment, that's a state's right. Have you ever noticed that states, there's federal law does not interfere with states' rights? See, a lot of people need to be taken back to sixth grade government. So when you're talking about, oh, I want to carry, why should you carry? Because if you really want to carry, what's the certifications to say you can carry? So any willy nilly person should carry without any background check, without any mental check, without any criminal check. Nobody's supposed to keep tabs on this shit. No, you don't understand it because once again, I've said it once and I'll say it again. You can supersede, you can't undermine. As long as they don't undermine the Constitution. Notice, you haven't heard any state that says you cannot own a firearm, have you? No. But you will have states that say, okay, we have restrictions for people getting a firearm, which is superseding, not undermining. But go ahead.
So one of the things about it, and I'm probably going to set up a conversation. I'm probably going to actually set up a conversation with Officer Faulkner and another content creator I know, by the brother named Dying to Live. Um, Both are from two sides of the pole. For one believes that the police are evil, and Charles is, of course, on the other side. That yeah, you know, no, there is no perfect. I could tell you that I'm an ex-military. Every system has a fault, but you can't just look at the minority. I could talk on for that from security and bodyguards. Yes, you have some corrupt ones. They do some stuff that shine bad. That we hear about. Well, security just started beating me up and jumping me. Not supposed to do that. Wow, you sound like a typical tyrant cop. Um, I don't think like I got it like from. Here's the thing about this. And I will say this. Um, we have to have an ironclad um stance on how we do things. People are always watching you. People are always watching you. Tell you right now, and in any and everything that we do, we will be critiqued. In any and everything that uh, Faulkner does, he will be critiqued. You live long enough, here you become the villain. But after a while, they'll look for, well, why did you grab him the way you did? When you have so much seasoned time in doing things, you start. There's a there's a method or there's an ideology when you first come into this line of work that you believe that you are going to clean up the streets. You remember that, Charles? Remember that when for the rookies when they come in, they think they're going to clean up the streets.
They're gonna get all the guns. They're gonna get all the drugs. They're gonna right that needs to be right. See, I like when he called me a tyrant cop. What did
Oh
I say that
Lord,
was
don't make me put
tyrannical?
that up. Oh Lord.
What did I? Just like I said, he sounds like a country idiot. You sound like one of those guys who believes wholeheartedly in the Constitution and you barely read it past the First, Second Amendment. Okay. What is tyrannical when I explain to you basic government? This is the same government that I uphold for years. 22 years I wore a uniform for God and country, whether it was green or blue. If I'm telling you straight up, certain shit is not going to hold. You keep on talking about the law and order is different and legislative freedoms and tax liberty. Get the fuck out of here. See, this is the reason why we're going to have to be very careful with you trolls.
Mhm.
When we literally can bring up Terry versus Ohio, and why did it stand? Because first and foremost, the Supreme Court interpreted that it was legally correct. He didn't violate the man's civil rights. If anything, it showed how on point of an officer he was. But now you want to be into this, I get to do what I want. No country, you can do what the fuck you want. You, you're probably one of those guys who hate the police because you probably had a number of run ins with the police. Very rarely do I see people get upset with the police unless they really had a lot of criminal run ins with the police. Now, I notice how everybody wants you to be candid and open about your life, but guys like him, oh, I want to be an enemy. I want to be anonymous, not tell you about my life. Okay, then tell me what's the criminality or the tyrannical nature of what I said. How many times have I been stopped by the police and they grab my gun? What, you gonna tell me if you were the officer, you wouldn't secure that weapon before you can positively identify me? If not, you're a damn fool.
I know they do that to me, and I know they do that to me. Actually, I remember I just got off from a shift, and I pulled over at the gas station, but I didn't remove my sidearm and take it off. And I had it where an officer said, I heard somebody scream, hand in the air. I said, whoa. I naturally put my hand um on my hip. Like, and after that, they said, hands in the air, you at the pump. I look around, scan. So, whoa. Had to show my stuff. had to show my stuff. I said, okay, I'm not an enemy. So and so, blah 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 blah. They came, they checked. So go ahead. Everything was good. Now, could I be angry or mad at the cop? No. Heck, when one of the other deputies pulled up, they said, "Oh, that's BMT." You know what I'm saying? They said, "Oh man, sorry about that, man. It's late. It's a graveyard shift. You're at a gas station. They see a guy with a gun." He reacted. You know.
See, we're gonna have a new rule called not argument from the chat. Pull up his last three comments. Number one.
Which one? This one or the other one?
Yeah, the last three. First
Okay.
and foremost, yes, police officers are public servants. They're not your butlers. We don't, even if we write tickets, which we're not forced to write tickets. I could go a whole month without writing a goddamn ticket. I went months without writing tickets. That's discretionary. So we don't generate a lot of money. We just don't.
Why did they say that? Why did they say that about y'all, Charles? That somehow y'all get money for every ticket you write?
Because the hearsay, and people would rather believe the sensational lie over the simplistic truth. You cannot have quotas in law enforcement. They cannot make you. If I go in there and I have zero calls, and that's what the night brought, it's zero calls. So you telling me, even on the run sheet, I went to this store, went to that store, check this out, check that out. I didn't have a call. I don't. If everybody's tags are in order, if everybody's headlights and brake lights are in order, nobody ran a stop sign or a red light, which there are plenty of days that it happened. Nobody can say, go out there and give me some red light tickets. No, you can't. There's no quota. But yet, let's see the other one. How you gotta think about it. Police do not draw a lot of revenue for cities. They just don't. Numerically, it doesn't make sense.
Y'all gonna cause Charles to do a show about this, y'all. I'm telling you, y'all gonna cause me to.
I swear to God, you fucking idiots, man.
Y'all gonna cause
Let me
Charles to go on
finish.
his.
You know, let me point out something, BNT. The only time you even make money is if you have a last minute arrest and you have to get paid overtime to complete the arrest. Can't go home till it's finished. Nobody usually wants that shit because you want to go home and live your life. You might be tired. You might have went through some shit. Next thing you know, if another shift's nice enough to take over the call for you, God bless them. But sometimes that's not the case. And when you're talking about making money, no, I don't make any damn money off of a damn ticket. We don't generate any revenue. We don't roadside pirates. If you really want to talk about generating money, you don't say nothing about the people that ticket you when you're not supposed to be there at certain times of the day. You don't say anything about the tolls that keep tolling you, that keep taking money from your ass. Hell, half of you motherfuckers don't even complain about the child support you pay, and that pays more money than what we can do in tickets. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to talk about that. So where in the world are we generating revenue? And yes, if a police officer stops you and they secure your weapon, meaning your weapon's off your person, yes, if they're stopping you, yes, they can take that weapon from you and give it back to you when they're finished conducting their investigation. No way in hell am I gonna keep that fucking gun on you and I don't know who you are, especially if I get a call for an armed person. You could be an off-duty cop. You could be a guy casing a joint. I wanna find out. Now, when all your credentials check back, sure. But if you don't have a damn thing to say that you're the legal owner of that gun, Either A, you're going to get arrested, or B, you're going to have to come back with some proof. Let's say it's you're the legal owner of that gun, and we're going to put it in evidence control.
So let
And
let
once
me
again,
let me do this for like, but I'll be Charles's testing subject. Okay, make sure y'all know. Okay, okay, so that way y'all know. Okay,
and by the
all right.
way, for a lot of I'm gonna just answer this one last one. By the way, for a lot of those times when they said they exposed quotas, where? Because I'm giving you a lot of factual evidence and you have shit to give me. Where? Because as soon as they expose they have a quota, guess what happens to that law enforcement agency? They get sued, heavily penalized.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
all right. So let's see. Me and Charles, we're at work.
Hmm. And the
Go by.
pockets, see the guy's hands, you see a bulge. He's doing safety checks. No,
Charles
right?
asks me a question. Hey man, I need to check you. Why? I'm not doing anything. He
Now,
has the right to say, hey, don't move. Let me just check you. He's doing that for his
see,
safety and everyone around him.
which is including the person who possibly is armed.
You
Once
know.
you start seeing that this person, because everything, see, BMT, a lot of people fail. Context is king. Context is king. If I see a person with their hands in their pocket and they're walking up the street and it's cold, okay, that's one thing. But if I see you in your pocket and you're doing safety checks, you're looking into a store, you're looking around, you're looking back into the store, you're looking around, you're not going into that store yet, that's going to be suspicious, which gives you reasonable suspicion. But if it's something like, okay, teenage guy getting off the bus, got his book bag on from school, and he's walking on the street with his hands in his pockets or in his hoodie, not suspicious, right? That's
Hmm.
usual. Now, if he goes to a corner store and he starts casing the joint, looking around, doing patting down his side, you see a bulge there, yeah, that's gonna look a little weird. But what happens is a lot of people don't understand the context that you're actually trained. Remember them 6 months people complain about? That's a lot of requirements and a lot of hours of training. Those 28 weeks of academy and 3 to 4 months of field training. That's a long time to learn a craft. Hell, you like I've said before when you were gone. I don't know if you heard me. A lot of you motherfuckers trust your fucking freedom with the average lawyer who's a B minus to C plus to B minus lawyer. Not every doctor that you have touch your body was a straight A student.
That's true. That's true.
So not every mechanic was the top of his class who's worked on your car. So when it comes to trusting things and it goes back into you know, these issues I find out, a lot of people are not privy to certain things because one, their ignorance blocks them from it, and two, they don't want to do the research.
You know, I, and I would say this to you guys: whenever we detain somebody, this is why me and some of the guys, one, let's say we detain, hands up. While I'm doing the pat down, Charles will be standing on my side to make sure nothing goes wrong. Usually when I'm behind you, okay, hey, what's this? He's going to be on alert. One, to make sure you're not being violated, and to make sure I'm safe. I usually before we touch you, what is the first thing we always ask them, Charles? Before we even touch anybody, what do we always ask people?
You're gonna ask them, hey, what are you doing here? Can I see your hands?
Man, oh man, I ain't trying to bother nobody. I'm just here.
Because I just want to see your hands. Why? Because hands kill. I don't want to put you in a position where you can hurt me, and I don't want to hurt you. I'm just here to do my duty. If nothing's wrong, hey, you're free to go. We'll write you up a report, a stop receipt that you were stopped by me. Free to go.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't understand that. Look, we don't like to, as police and public safety and security, we don't like to be bothered. We want easy day.
Easy. Easy.
The best days is when I don't have to do shit. Okay, that's the best days are not the we're gonna get in a run, we're gonna get in a run in a gun battle, we're gonna go in a high speed chase. The best days are when you make it easy money, you ain't doing shit. Okay, let's just get that out there. A lot of you motherfuckers get this misconception from the movies, like we like Bad Boys, like we're going on I-95 and we're getting running gun battles and shit. No, the best days are when you ain't doing shit. You get to go home, the other person goes home, all is right with the goddamn world.
I actually appreciate those people quiet.
Oh yeah,
I
I told
appreciate
a
that.
lot of rookies. I told a lot of rookies BMT. They be like, man, it's boring. One, never say the word boring out loud because that's when all shit breaks loose.
Mm.
And two, be appreciative of these slow days because there are some days it jumps. You literally are working from as soon as you get out there into the street. Hell, sometimes you're running on, depending on the call. One time I'm getting off work and I had to jump back in the car because it was a signal 13 and had to stay an extra hour and a half to make sure the scene was secure. Okay.
I think I
If
think
you're,
um I think law enforcement requests for us to stay with them.
yep.
But there wasn't enough in that area, and we also had to go find the gun and the cases. So we're all out there in the windy cold looking for rounds in the fucking night in a parking lot. And I said, wait a second, my job ends at my old OC. Shut up. This is shut up. I want to hear shit. Everybody just keep looking. I was supposed to have been off since 2 o'clock. I didn't get home until 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna send you, I'm gonna send you the state's requirements for a lot of these police, a lot of these people, man.
I done. I will tell y'all from. I usually try to give people some leniency of telling them before I check you. Is there anything on your person that's going to have you compromised? I tell this to young girls before I catch them with mollies and drugs or blade on them, under their tongue or on them. Gotcha. Gotcha, bro. I'm going to put that in there right now. Um, go ahead and grab this. So, let me go ahead and grab something for y'all. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. I have my days where I literally have not been able to go home, or have not even been able to touch home
Mm.
because of my job. Understand? Had we allowed them young girls, the minors, and we said, let's just take the money and stay, there would have been no amendment. There would have been no excuse that we could have used. Because mind you, our job is to ask for IDs. Ask for IDs. There's no way y'all can say, well, the consensual age, well, they're here. I've never show me that consensual age where a 14-year-old can drink. I would love to see it. If you can give it to Charles, Charles can show it to me. I'll give him $100.
But you know, it's my constitutional right.
Say that in front of a judge and see where that will get you. If you try to run that in front of a judge, they'll hang you. They'll hang you. All right, Charles, we got a paperwork.
Yep. See, I noticed this, right?
Mhm.
Now, one time motherfuckers ever show proof. Once again, did I not tell you Maryland's one of the strictest fucking places to be an officer? That's the average for the United States of basic training hours. People don't understand this. That's the minimal. That's the minimal. And remember, for each one of these states, this is the minimal. Because a lot of times you're going above and beyond some hours. There are times when I was in the academy, I did extra classes with law, with English, defense tactics, TT. So a lot of my days were 10 to 12-hour days some days. And that's
I
just the
like this.
academy
This is
alone.
really good. I like this website. Yeah, nice.
And look, and notice 37 states to answer this question. Go back to the top. 37 states do what? Allow police to work before attending basic training, which means guess what? You're either a police cadet, which means you are from the ages of 18 to 20 in 9 months, or 20 and
Fuck,
10 months, because you got to
I'm
be,
fucking Kyle Rittenhouse.
yep, 18 to, and matter of fact, Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't even old enough to be a cadet.
Hmm. Hmm.
He was really like one of those high school explorers. But once again, when it's right, it's right. Notice 37 states, meaning you could be a cadet, which means you're basically a gopher. You have to have your license and a clean record. And basically, you're working at an office. You're answering phones. You're learning 10 codes. You may be sent to go get everybody's food. You may be sent to deliver paperwork to another district. Now, if you were like myself, who at the time when I got hired, I was 25. So, when you go down to the police department and you swear in, because you swear in twice. You swear in for the state of Maryland, you swear in for the city of Baltimore. You actually become what they call a police officer trainee. You're not a cadet because you basically are in training. So, that being said, I got hired September 18th. The academy started late October. So basically, I was working in an office, a detective office, for a little over a month.
Jesus Christ.
Once the academy comes in, boom, look at the amount of hours in California you need. Let's compare California to Maryland. Well, how many basic training hours? 664. Hold that in your brain. Go to Maryland. Notice the average out there.
Maine, Maryland.
Right, bam.
God damn.
What was I lying about the strictest states to be a cop?
750 hours. You need, yeah, man. You got months. You got 12 months. Police can work before training, yearly in service, 18 down. And like I said, zero field training hours. Citizen, I gotta go look at this website. This is a very detailed website.
And think about
Charles,
it.
you need to
We
cover
still
this.
have we still have 3 months of field training because
Jesus,
that's a
man.
lot. You have to go through field training in the state of Maryland. That's the only thing I don't agree with because you won't graduate. Well, you can't even graduate unless you complete field training. They'd be like, "Why
Now,
did you
could you
do
explain to them what field training is? Could you explain to them what that is?
field training?" Is when you completed your requirements in the academy and you're going to go to one of the 9 districts. See, we don't have precincts in the city of Baltimore. We have districts, which means each district is named after a geographical location. Like the district where I worked was the Northern District, which was the north part of Baltimore. So when I went to the Northern District in field training, I was placed with an officer, a field training officer, an officer who had at least about 5 years. The average field training officer I had 15 years at the time. Okay. So you go with this training, this field training officer. Some were drug guys, some were community service guys, some were burglary or robbery guys. It all picks and it all chooses. So you're following around. This guy's teaching you the ropes, how to put everything you put in the academy in real time. So he's teaching you how to write the report. So guess what? When you usually have the trainee with you and you're driving and somebody has a burglary or a robbery report, guess who's gonna learn to write that damn report? It's gonna be that goddamn trainee. So imagine you're working the same hours with your field training officer. And when I first got on, we worked 6 days on and 2 off in Baltimore, by the way. Those summer times were great work day. So, this being said and this being acknowledged, you're going through this for what, 3 months? And back in the day, we would cover all 3 shifts. Like you would literally do the morning shift, you would do the afternoon shift, and you would spend about 2 to 3 weeks with midnight officers. So you're learning from each officer. Once you complete those 2 to 3 months, sometimes 4, that's when you graduate the academy. And people ask, why do you get your gun and badge before you graduate? Well, it's the same concept. A surgeon has to cut somebody before you call him a surgeon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, same system. Now, this field training is also a good indicator if this person needs to be law enforcement or not. Can they handle the job before they become locked in after that 2 years and they're a full fledged cop? Or do you let them go and once you realize this person does not have what it takes to be a police officer? Hmm. Now,
Now,
go ahead. Go ahead.
now, this is pretty in depth, and like I said, I tell you, you definitely need to go. This is very good information. Um, Now, one of the things about it because you have to it's you have to write a report a certain type of way. I didn't know how serious writing reports were. My God. And I've been forced to have to write some. I thought I was writing a whole Bible. Like everything, every detail, because that judge is going to read that report. That sergeant is going to read that report. That
Hmm.
every word, when you say I caught the suspect, but you didn't actually catch them, you got to actually put I saw the suspect
Hmm.
and they got away. See, people will actually say, "Oh, I caught them." I was just
Do
gonna say,
you,
well, where they
where are
at?
they? It's
No, no, I
ridiculous.
caught them. Where are
You
they?
caught them. You caught them. Okay, you have them detained. You have them arrested. What are you? And it's funny because one of the biggest criteria and the reason why they bring law and English professors is because a lot of adults cannot write. They cannot write chronologically. They can't tell a story. So it's just like this idiot here. Well, because you laughed about the Constitution, you was. I'm like, dude, you don't know shit about me, and I'm not gonna have somebody try to spread their little white guilt to me. Okay. Let's, if you really want to pick a struggle, get your ass up here and argue your struggle. Nobody's here for that bullshit. Let's look
Got
at
to make the
how
reports, man. They are rough.
let's look at how report writing will make or break a case. One, if you found out telling a lie or mistruths, you will not be able to testify ever again.
Mm.
Your word is shit. They have a cannot testify list. There's one sergeant who used to work drugs and he lied on something. He was reprimanded and he was not allowed to testify ever again. His word was shit. And that's a big part of your job. And in some cases, you could be terminated because of integrity. Oh, but we're not supposed to talk about that, right?
Now, why is it that most people don't understand how strict it is for you to write a report, or literally, um, that literally, and that's true. I think there was a lawsuit on a prior guard. He put something. This is why when I told y'all when I made a comment about BMT stop the cap when it comes to pop, I said I don't bring my personal feelings to work. That's why even Charles said, "Yo, there's a difference between the professional side and my personal side. I'm professional. We don't we listen. We leave that personal stuff out of our report. It's just straight report. There's no room for that.
Yeah. If you're reporting something, you're reporting the story to the best of your knowledge.
Correct.
Don't put anything in it. Just like you're on a witness stand, if you don't remember, you do not recall. It's okay. You don't recall because a lot of these fucking cases could be 6 months to a year to 2 years later. Some shit you may not recall. You have to refer back to your notes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Did y'all know this is a funny this is one of the most important things on you for guards, security, law enforcement? It's not your gun. It's the notepad.
Hmm.
Hey, we all got that wrong at school. They're like, your gun, your sidearm, your equipment, your uniform. He pulled out a notepad and a pen. He said, "This will save your ass more than that gun. That notepad will literally, just like Charles said, literally, you do not write or rip what you write in there. That's what you write in there. You can't write no groceries in there. You can't rip out a paper in there. Like
Hmm.
it is serious. I listen, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. And that notepad is serious. Like it is your Bible. What what Faulkner did for that whole year. It is serious for what BMT did on that post from what time I checked in to all kind of stuff. So it literally your notepad, and I'm telling you, like I had a rookie man. I'm glad he wrote out his stuff. I said, "What happened?" He said, when I asked him, he started writing stuff down. He wrote everything down. He said he saw X, Y, and Z. He wrote down the time and everything. So when we went and checked the camera, guess what? And I said, they're like, "Nah, man, he made that." I said, he said, "No, no, I wrote it down." That wrote it down saved him from a $1.6 million lawsuit because he had kept the chronological order of what happened, and that was not on him.
Yep.
Y'all gotta listen, man. Charles, we gotta do this, man. We
We're
gotta
gonna
do
have to
this.
we're gonna have to do this because it's we're gonna we're gonna have to do this real soon because shit. Y'all might even see us on the goddamn range shooting rifles and handguns. Because I'm gonna tell you what, when the weather breaks and a lot of training money comes in, I'm gonna build my resume. It's time for me to pay me. So yeah, your boy's gonna be an EMT certified. He's gonna be paramedic certified. He's gonna be rifle, handgun, shotgun, fucking 20249 again certified. I'm actually gonna take my skills and I'm gonna take my skills and go to South Beach, as they say. A lot of you brothers out there need to really, really get into this law enforcement, military, private security, and fire department. There's too much money left on the table. There's too much team. There's too much experience and too much education. I'm gonna tell a lot of people, don't go to the chat. Don't come to our pages and start trying to tell us what the fuck to do because a lot of guys, I'm cordial. If you ask me something respectfully, I'm gonna return it back to respect. Don't be like this one jackass in the comments who thinks he knows more than anybody. And see, that's how I can tell that ignorance of what if I was a white cop, I would not get any of the flack I would I be see?
Nope, 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 nope. This
But
is why I
because you
tell you
got
we can't have no room for art. That's why we gotta be professional, man. We gotta be professional. No room for
yep,
error.
nope. And see, that's the case of scenario a lot of people don't want to talk about. You have these idiots out there constantly telling us what to do, telling us how our job should be. I said you didn't even put in 1 hour. 1 hour. You got almost 800 hours to be a cop in the state of Maryland, and sometimes you go above that. Think about that. Your 8 hour day, and you still got damn near how many more? Because them days in the academy, just like days in basic training, get long as shit,
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
and they're formatted not for you, but for the level of training you need. So when people talk all this shit, I'm like, please show me how it's done. Please tell me how it's done. Please, please tell the guy who goes in front of defense attorneys and eat them alive. Tell me how it's done.
I think that I've had a day when the instructor came in and said, "Okay, it's time for us to get y'all CO certified." Some people are like CO. I was like, "Oh fuck, we're already back to that day again." Yep, got to re-update your cards, and we still got to do the CO, and also we got to still do our test. CO is when they take some goddamn spray, pepper spray.
And write your name in your face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ah! Ah! Then Let the fun begin.
Yeah,
No,
I remember they at the academy they wrote their names in cursive and our shit.
you're gonna have that nice burning sensation, and you'll see people turn cherry red, or you'll see people start to break out, or some guys they'll try to be strong and they're just burning. And I promise you, you ain't gonna sleep in class. You're not gonna sleep in class, not like that.
Mm-mm,
Have that shit
mm-mm.
on your face.
Well, you can try to be strong. That shit will break your ass down like a shotgun.
And then, and so I was like, damn boy, it's gas chamber all over again and shit.
Hmm
And it just you gotta still got class.
hmm
You still got
And
class.
by the way, we had to be gassed and sprayed.
I was like, Jesus Christ, I had that. I was tased. I've been tased before. All these things that what I'm saying. And you have a certain amount of time of, of blocks, learning blocks. You have to get this in. So there's no slowing down. There's no. You might get some rest, but if you have a night fire or you got night driving or whatever else you got to do, you have it where you got to do patrols at night, but
hmm
you have to stay awake. And
hmm
sometimes you will stare at a wall or stare at just boy. You better have that mental fortitude.
People don't know. Them days get long, man. Them days get fucking long. You're just like, why? God forbid it's like you got handgun, shotgun, night fire. And then they want your black ass to be back there 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. Sharp.
And
If they're feeling if they like you and they feeling merciful, they might do like they might give you a little bit more time. But God, man, you're just so fatigued and tired. And people don't understand the academy, right? The academy, I could probably do a week long content about that. See, my instructor, one of our instructors, was a former SWAT sniper. Okay,
mm,
and he became the head PT instructor. So this dude was running 5 miles, 3 to 5 miles every other day with each class. And he was in his 40s, by the way. So let's say they had about 3 classes. So this motherfucker's clocking in 15 miles. So you're running not just, you're running over bridges, you're running through the hood. And guess what? The hood knows your trainees. They like, man, you slow as shit. You ain't gonna catch my black ass. Well, I know I can beat that cop up right there. Some motherfuckers will be scared shitless, and I mean shitless, to run in some of those fucking neighborhoods. And you running district to district. You running from what? From the central district all the way up to the damn western district and back.
mm.
You gotta see. It was hard. And then the academy, the old academy, before they went to University of Baltimore, the old academy was up there in Guilford, and 210 Guilford, you could not use the elevators. You had to use the steps, and it was 5 flights. You had to carry your bag with everything in God's creation in it. Your GOs or now policies, your extra uniforms, your boots, your PT gear, duty belt, and some more shit. I mean, some people's bags weighed about goddamn 50 to 100 pounds, okay? Depending on your size. And you're going 5 flights of stairs after you just came from running, after you getting smoked. Shit gets real. You'd be like, God damn. You're just, this is 5 days a week. Remember, 8 hours minimal, hour after hour for 6 fucking months. That breaks the average person. Okay.
I've seen people cry and break down. This is why we had 3 girls that came. Only one girl made it, and they're like, I think one person came back with their parent because, like I said, my team was only 5 men, And she was like, "Well, I feel like y'all make it a bias where women can't join." I said, "No, we only make it where only the strong can join. Only the strong can join."
And I'm glad you said that too, man. I'm glad you said that. Here's my gif. Women have it so easy. There's very few women
Mhm.
who can actually hold their own. Have I met a female officer that I'm gonna have rather back me up than a male officer? Sure. Not too many, but sure. Because she could hold her own. She knew her limitations. She knew what she was great at. And if I'm gonna fight and I'm rolling around with a guy, she's the first person to wrap a brick around your head if necessary. She knows how to get a motherfucker off or down. So we're not talking about that select few of women who can do their job and do it great. We're talking about the women who get to these professions to look for a check and look pretty and use their sexuality to get over.
Right.
You want the same amount of money that I'm making, but you're doing less push-ups. You get more time on the run, less sit-ups, and don't have to bench press. It's nowhere near what I have to do. Okay, you got more fat tissue in your chest than I do. Okay, scientifically correct, biologically correct. Okay, cool. But when I ask you to do your job to the same extent that I do, there's a problem. Not for the exception of women, but for the lazy motherfuckers. And I can say the same thing for the men. You got some exceptional guys out there who can do their own. And then you got some shitbags. Like I've always said, and you heard me on many panels, not all officers are created equal.
Right.
Some people will never work out again after they leave the academy. Some people will keep a fitness profile like no other. There's the standard. You're either going to come above it or you're going to go below it. Or you're just going to meet it. It's up to you to where you're going to go. And when Homeboy was talking in the chat, notice how he didn't get a damn thing that I was telling him. Everything he thought he knew was superior to my intellect. And I'm telling you, there are so many places in so many states that have certain restrictions that supersede the Constitution. Majority of your rights are states' rights, not constitutional. If that was true, child support would actually be called unconstitutional. But it goes above the Constitution. Notice that's a state thing. It's not in the Constitution. And people forget each state has its own constitution. By the way, we forget that as well. So
I
a lot of
try to tell them every state was Maryland Constitution is not South Carolina. We all have the Constitution in the United States. Man, listen,
yeah,
man. That starts varying when you start crossing in the states, man. Like, yeah, we acknowledge we have a constitution, but my constitution, what I abide by and what he abide by are two different things, man. For all I know, they could say, hey, they could have the Wild West. We could have the Wild West running around in the Carolinas. I get to Maryland, they say put that shit away.
exactly.
You
And then think about it. Look, A.L. Evans, who lives in Texas, straight up Texan, they have concealed carry. There are some counties in Texas you'll actually get citation. Excuse me. You'll actually get citation for not having a firearm on you. And people say, why? Texas is so fucking big. It may be hours before you see another law enforcement officer.
mm-hmm.
So a lot more responsibility is placed on you in that state than others.
I agree.
Context matters. And I swear to God, I noticed one thing in these manosphere spaces, context is a lost art.
Mm. Damn, you dropping a lot of content for shows. Trying to tell you, man.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm telling
that's
you,
what.
We probably just talked up about 2 weeks worth right there.
I'll tell y'all, man. And but I know we're about to wrap it. And like I said, man, I'm telling Charles, I'm putting that on him today
Oh
to
yeah,
go over the police thing. Why? Listen, man, and this is why I said earlier when I said I'm going to do a bodyguard channel. I'm gonna do I'm gonna probably start take content over to the bodyguard side. Um, everybody everybody's not fit for this type of work. Everybody likes to critique our work, but everybody's not built to do this type of work. You know what I'm saying? You take I know people think it's easy, but you don't know the real discipline it takes to sit there and listen to a bunch of people talk shit to you and know you could drop their ass, and you don't do it. That's
right.
I don't think y'all understand that. That's why I have a lot of respect for when I see sometimes them, even when they wearing the SWAT gear and they're sitting there and people are knowingly spitting on their shields. I don't think y'all know, like you're playing a dangerous game, and they're told to just stand there. They're told to stand there and take that. But getting cursed out, called all names, being threatened, all kind of stuff, being told to die. Forget that's a man on the other side. He got gear on, but he's still a man. And every man has their limits. The difference is Faulkner is trained, so am I, to have above average limits to deal with people. Saw a whole man. Guard, I gotta pee. Let me back inside. No. I gotta pee. I'm gonna pee on myself. Let me back inside. No. I peed on myself. I told you let me inside. Now let me back inside. Hell no. Now you're gonna sit in your piss.
Hmm.
Granted, some random broad came up. Oh my god, you got him sitting down, pissed up and like an animal. He's a grown man. He chose to pee on himself.
Mhm.
He only been
And
sitting there for 8 minutes.
and then on top of that, when you transporting prisoners, there are certain criteria I may not be able to take you to the bathroom yet. Because even
Hmm.
before I became a cop, I was working for Watkins transporting prisoners to see the court commissioner. Like when I really being that for 22 years, I wore a uniform for God and country in some capacity. BMT, I'm gonna tell you and everybody else, I'm not fucking lying. You gotta think of
Oh, this is how I know, Charles. It's on you now, buddy. You're gonna have to carry the torch for this one. Um, y'all just don't get it, man. Y'all really just don't get what some of us are have to put up with. I done seen girls beat they beat the living crap out of each other, and I gotta find a way to stop them. I've seen highly emotional men kick, cry, and scream, but before you then handcuff them, they were shouting all kind of gang signs, saying F12. Okay, all right, cool. This is BMT along with the one, the great, the Panthro, Officer Charles. We'll see you guys later. Charles need to go ahead and do the show, man. I'm gonna have to hit up on this